We talk a lot about multiple sources of income on this channel, and where there's income, there's always going to be taxes, right? Well, at least for the most of us anyway. So I just wanted to share with you guys the tax services that I'm currently using and the ones that I've previously used in the past. And I figured since I'm doing the taxes as we speak, I might as well share my experience with you guys. Choosing the company and products that they offer can be quite confusing, so I'm going to break it down so that be a little bit less of a headache for you guys to choose the right service to get the most out of your return. And I'm not a tax expert, nor do I claim to understand everything regarding the companies that we are going to talk about. I just want to share my experience as a user of the services. This is not financial or tax advice. Please consult a subject expert if you need assistance with your unique situation. The main ones that I'm going to attempt to break down today are TurboTax and H&R Block, because their products and services are just a bit confusing. And then we're going to compare their prices to other more straightforward services like TaxAct and TaxSlayer. And I'm going to say this up front. These services can change at any moment. That's just the nature of tax laws, services, and policies. But if you want more information, then I'll leave a link to an article in the description under the like and subscribe button that will go into more details and have the most up-to-date prices. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start with TurboTax. With TurboTax, you can get their services in two general ways. You can do it online or purchase the software in a store. And I'm sure you might have seen their displays during the tax season in many popular stores like Walmart and Target. I'm going to put a table up on the screen to help you guys see their products better. You can see that some of their products are named differently and some of them are named the same, depending on whether you buy it online or in the store. Now let's smash them all together and put them in order from the least comprehensive product to the most comprehensive product. And I'm going to put some general prices for each of them that I found directly on their website. And once again, these prices will vary on many different factors, but this should give you a good idea of prices and where each product stands, but more on that later. So the million-dollar question is, which product should you choose? All right, so let's take it from the top. The free edition is for people who have simple tax returns to file, like maybe some W-2s or some unemployment income. And you can also claim a very limited interest and dividend income as well. But if you need to do any schedule forms like A through D, then you need a higher tier service. And you can always start your taxes from here, but if you don't qualify, then they're going to require you to pay for a higher tier service when you file. There is also the IRS version called the free file that's also brought to you by TurboTax. It will cost you $0 to pay for the service, $0 to file your federal and state taxes. The only caveat is that you need to be able to say yes to any of these situations below. And if you do, then there's a good chance that you'll qualify for it. The free edition is not the same product as this one. The basic service is a software that's good for people who have simple W-2 returns, but also have children or dependents they need to claim. Use this if you need to claim credits like, child care credit, earned income credit, and child tax credit. You can also do your stock investments here as well, but very little guidance is offered to help you through the process in this software, but it's doable if you have common stock situations. If you're interested in seeing what forms are included in TurboTax's software products, then check out the article in the description. There will be a link in the article where you can find a list of all the forms. The deluxe edition has online and software versions of the service. The online version is also good for people who have a lot of things to claim and want to itemize deductions like student loans, mortgage interest, property taxes, charity donations, energy efficient improvements, and things of that nature. However, the deluxe software version does everything the online version can do, but you're also able to claim your investments as well, like your investments of capital gains and losses. The Premier service has everything the Deluxe service version has, but it also has more in-depth guidance to complex investments, and it's also needed if you want to report rental property income and expenses. If you are self-employed, a freelancer, a sole proprietor, or own a small business, then you can use the self-employed online version or the home and business version of the software. So if you receive 1099 forms for your sources of income, then you need to use this service. And if you want to deduct business expenses, then you can also use this version as well. And lastly, we have the business service, which only comes in the software version. If you have partnerships, S Corps, C Corps, multi-member LLCs, and trusts or estate returns, then you will need to use this product to be able to report business incomes and expenses. Their CD download products all include 5 federal e-files and 1 state return with the exception of the basic version, which has no state return, so that would cost you extra to file for state. But then again, The other bundles will only include one state, so you would still need to pay for the other 4 state returns if you choose to use them. Just bear in mind that if you decide to e-file, there's always going to be an extra cost. I know I spent a major part of this video on TurboTax, and that's because TurboTax's products and services are by far the most confusing on this list, and I promise you that the others won't be as bad and it'll be much quicker. Up next is H&R Block. And H&R Block does have a similar service product structure as TurboTax, but what makes H&R different is that they have dedicated physical stores that you can just walk into to get assistance with your taxes if needed. And in the same format as we did with TurboTax, we're going to bring in H&R service product line from online services and software products. And you can see how it's structured. It looks very similar to TurboTax's, but now we're going to bring them all together again, and we're going to slap some prices on there. And now we're just going to start from the top again. H&R's free version is online and is also free to use and free to file your federal and state taxes. And this is great for simple returns, which also include earned income credit, student loan deductions, and retirement income. The basic version is software only, and it's good for people who need to file a different status, have children to claim or dependents, and use this if you need to claim credits like child care credit and child tax credit. The deluxe version can be used online or purchased as software. However, it's just as confusing as TurboTax's product stack because they are different products that have different services. The online version of Deluxe is just a bit better than the basic version of the software because it has everything the basic version has, but you're able to deduct real estate taxes and mortgage interest. Whereas the Deluxe software version also has more deduction types and investments like stocks, bonds, and cryptocurrency. And it includes features to start your state tax return as well. The same thing with the premium versions. You can get it online or by software, but once again, they are different products. The premium version online has everything the deluxe software version has, but also has rental property income and deductions. And there is one thing that it doesn't have over the deluxe version is that it doesn't include the state return, and that's an extra cost for the premium versions. The software version of premium has everything the online version has, but also allows for self-employment income and deductions. In other words, if you have 1099 work, then you can claim it here as well. And their premium and business software is essentially the exact same service as their online version, the self-employed. Both of them have every feature as the bottom tiers have, but they also allow for business income, expenses, and deductions. The next 2 tax companies on this list is pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to say too much about them, but I am going to drop a screenshot of each one of them and then quickly run through them. And by now, you kind of get the idea. Usually the free versions or basic versions are for simple tax returns, and if you need more, then you need to pay for a higher tier of service that fits your tax needs. Next, we have TaxAct. They do things a bit differently than the other 2 companies in that they only have online versions of it, unless you buy it in bulk. Only then you'll be able to download the software. Their bulk downloads include 5 federal e-files and 1 state return, with the exception of the basic version, which has no state return, so it would cost you extra for filing state. But then again, the other bundles only include 1 state return, so you still have to pay for the other state returns if you choose to use them. And here are the current prices for the bulk plans. Alright, so let's head back to the online versions. Not as confusing as the other 2 companies that we talked about, which is very refreshing. Only 4 options to choose from, and they're all online. So let me drop this screenshot here. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. The free version or basic version are for simple tax returns, and if you need more, then you have to pay for a higher tier service that fits your tax needs. They also have a separate set of services dedicated for small businesses and beyond. And once again, I appreciate the straightforwardness of the products and services. The titles of the products pretty much sums up your business tax situation. And you can use these products online or download the software. Last but certainly not least, we have TaxSlayer. TaxSlayer service is online only, and like TaxAct, you only get 4 options to choose from. Once again, I'm going to drop a screenshot here, and we'll take a look at that real quick. Unlike TaxAct, TaxSlayer does have a free file that is free to use and free to file federal and state filings. Good for simple returns with unemployment income, student loan interest, and expenses. Once again, if you need more, then you have to pay for a higher tier service that will fit your tax needs, ranging from simple taxes to more complex situations. But their most valuable product or service is by far the Classic service. The Classic service covers most tax situations and has all the forms, all for a measly price of only $17. The Premium is basically a priority customer support add-on for their Classic service. and their self-employment is for contractors, 1099 work, and situations of that nature. Alright, so I'm going to try to fit all the companies and services all on one screen so we can get a good comparison between them. And I'll give you a second to look over what we have here. Okay, so let me give you some examples on how this works. If you have to claim deductions, student loans, mortgage interest, real estate taxes, then these are the software that you want to use from the product stack. It goes without saying that usually a higher tier service in the product stack will include everything underneath it. So as far as TurboTax's product stack is concerned, if the main focus is to claim mortgage, interest, and real estate taxes, then not only will you be able to claim it in the deluxe version, but you'll also be able to do it in the premier versions and business versions as well. But I'm only going to show the most cost-effective service to use for that purpose. If you have investments like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cryptocurrency, then these are what you're going to want to use to file. If you own rental property and have expenses, then you're going to want to use one of these. If you are self-employed, a freelancer, or own a small business, then you want to use these types of products. Once again, prices, policies, and terms are always changing by the second, so only use this as a reference guide. And I'll leave a link to my article where you can find the most current prices. One note when it comes to prices. Those MSRP or retail prices that you see are never what you should really be paying for during the tax season. All the tax companies are competing for your business, so it's always going to be marked down. It's a huge marketing strategy, but that's an entirely different topic, which we are not going to jump into that rabbit hole. But these are the prices that I found from Amazon and Walmart as of making this video. And notice how you can sometimes get a better deal with the software version since you're getting more for using the software than actually doing it online. At least that's the case for TurboTax and H&R Block. What you're really paying for with the online version is convenience, and that's why you're getting less features using the online version versus the software version. Some of these software prices may include the state returns as well, which is an added benefit that you normally would have to pay for if you use the online counterpart. And also, just because the state is included doesn't mean you don't have to pay to e-file it. That cost is something that I want you guys to be aware of. Alternatively, you could print out these state forms and file it through the mail, which is free. Generally speaking, the sooner you file, the higher the chance the prices will be below retail, and the closer it gets to the filing deadline date, then you'll find less deals and sales since, they know you're going to have to file sooner or later, so they're going to get the most out of you. And that's why I usually buy the software early in the year since I have it at a discounted price, and then I can leisure to do it when I want. Whether you choose to do your taxes online or use the software, it's entirely up to you. For the most part, simple taxes are best to be done online. I do my own taxes, and as an investor, my taxes are not simple. I sometimes need to amend previous year's tax forms, so I personally like to use this software simply because it has a little bit more control over my forms, and it's easier to just upload my previous filings and edit it directly on my computer. Most online versions let you see and download the previous tax forms, but you would need to redo the forms if you need to edit or amend them, which is a real pain. Another reason you might want to use a software version is that some software versions allow you to file for multiple returns in one software purchase, which is great if you plan on doing tax returns for everyone in your household. Granted, you still need to pay for state and e-filing for your returns, but it still saves you money overall if you utilize it. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful to you, and if it was, then I would really appreciate if you hit that like button, and if you want more content like this, then do subscribe to my channel. Once again, I can't thank you guys enough for all the support, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.